good afternoon. It's just coming up to 1:45 on Tuesday the 25th of May. I'm just off from my home in Bath for a wild camp up on the Mendips. When I say wild camp, I actually mean I'm bivvying tonight. There's a little rest area, picnic area, come viewing point. I'm not going to actually refer to the name of it. I'll describe where it is and I'll show you when I get there, but I'm going to try not to have it tagged just in case anybody sees it and asks me to take the film down. I'm trying to test out my kit actually ready for the Frostway ride in hopefully a few weeks time, although I'm keeping my eye on the current events. However, back to today and tonight. Should be a spectacular location. I'm at the top of Tunley Hill. I'm just about to plunge down it very steeply into the Cam Valley, follow the Cam Valley along through Porton, round the outskirts of Midsummer Norton, climb up to Chilcompton, and there's a co-op there. I'm going to get some bottles of water and hopefully a bottle of wine for tonight. I've even bought a plastic wine glass. I did do an internet search and I typed in the location. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a dogging spot, to be honest. And I did notice camper vans tend to sort of like recommend it to each other, and I've street viewed it on Google and I've seen camper vans there. Whether they've been there overnight or not, I don't know. If I was ever asked to move on, I would comply. There's only once I've been challenged. That was the first night of my Southdown walk many moons ago. I was camping up on Beachy Head. I just wanted to camp up there ready for the start the next morning. And the ranger came round and pretty much just said I shouldn't be doing it, but he turned a blind eye. He could see I was like a backpacker, a serious outdoor enthusiast. I chose tonight because, well, a few reasons really. Tomorrow is supposed to be nicer, but however, we're having our second jab on the Thursday, so I really need to be back sometime tomorrow. So camping tomorrow night was out of the question. Tonight was supposed to be the first night after what feels like 40 days and 40 nights of constant rain, although I'm just sheltering now in this shelter from rain. There's the bike, just 2 panniers. I've tried to condense it as much as possible because, well, I'll show you what I'm doing later on. I'm trying to bring as little as possible. What I have done is bought really warm clothes because it is quite a cold, strong wind tonight. The temperature's not supposed to drop below 5, I believe, but there's the wind chill. I've even bought a woolly hat and some woolly gloves because I did get cold hands on one of my recent camps, and that was at a much lower level. I've just turned off the quite busy Radstock to Wells Road, and I'm now looping round on this smaller road towards to Mendip, but there's St Mary the Virgin Church. That's where I camped at recently. I just knew that lovely spring morning when I left in the sunshine. I just knew the next time I passed would bring back fantastic memories, and so it has. So carry on round here. I'm just taking the final slog up onto the Mendip plateau. I've just crossed the main road at Mendip, and you climb up past the old Mendip dairy. Wow, look at this tree canopied bit of road with all this wild garlic everywhere. Wow, really captures the time of the year. So it carries on up that way round to the left, and then it eventually emerges up on the Mendip plateau. I'm right up on top of the Mendips now. I've just turned left off the main Cheddar Road. I'm taking this little small lane through these woods across to Priddy, then I'll go straight over Priddy Common, head towards the very steep drop down to Wookey Hole off the Mendips, down through Eber Gorge. And it's just at the top there I'm going to camp, but this really sums up this time of the year. Look at all the bluebells in the woods. It's 4:10 and I'm very close to my destination now. This is the Mendip village of Priddy, high up on the hills. There used to be an ancient sheep fair here. In fact, that hut there is where they traditionally kept all the old stalls. The sheep fair moved up here on the top of the Mendips from Wales in the 1300s due to the Black Death. I've just cycled past the green where they used to have the sheep fair. I'm just turning down this single track road. This is going to drop steeply off to Mendips in about 1.25 miles time. It's a really nice Mendip Hills AONB sign there. You can see that direction goes to Wales, and this goes to, well, I won't say the word, and eventually it drops down to Wookey Hole. So it literally goes along there, and there's almost a sheer plunge off to Mendips, and that's where we're going to camp at the top. Lovely Mendip view, some horses coming along. These little huts here. Sandringham, Osborne, Windsor, Kensington, Balmoral, Buckingham. Part of the Queen Victoria in Beer Garden. There's an old trailer there with all the old wooden beer kegs on. Hello. Recently I was going through some old kit and I came across my old Nikon Coolpix camera, and that's what I'm filming on now, so you may notice a difference in quality. The reason being is I've forgotten how to use it, to be honest, and I was going all through the settings and I noticed on the video function there's an option for wind noise reduction, so I've switched it on, so it may be having an effect here, I don't know. I'm at my spot now. You'll see there's a picnic seat and a few viewing benches. Another picnic seat back there. That's the road I've just come in along from Priddy. And then it drops steeply down here, plunges down through Ebber Gorge into Wookey Hole. And I'm looking out across the Somerset levels here. It's now coming up to 6 PM at my rest area, come viewpoint, come chosen bivvy spot. I had to shelter here for about an hour underneath this tree. It wasn't heavy rain, but it was like constant drizzle. It's a big band of cloud which went across. In fact, there's another one coming in, you may see. That's looking across at the Bristol Channel. You can just about see Steepholm there actually. That's looking all down Somerset levels as you come into Wales. Wales would be just round the corner there. So this is my chosen spot under the tree. I sheltered there until I started to chill, and then I was able to just discreetly get changed in some tracksuit bottoms and a woolly hat and my puffer jacket. Then I've put my bivvy bag down, so it's on top of the German Army ground sheet, bulletproof that is, and then giving the bivvy bag a bit of protection. The bivvy bag is the Terra Nova Jupiter. Not a massive amount of room in there, it's a bit like a coffin really. It's got the raised hoop which just lifts it about 6 or 7 inches above your head, and then your legs will be down the far end. It's just about enough room to get my sleep mat in there, which is the Sinmat UL7, and my sleeping bag, and tonight I've got the Softy 3s, comfort down to about 5 I think, or 3. The temperature's not supposed to drop, although the wind chill was certainly making me feel cold earlier on, and the altitude here should be okay. Giving my bike a little bit of protection underneath the tree, but it's really one of those days when I could have done with the tent, to be honest, so I'm going to have to try and cook my tea on that shortly in between rain showers. Can't really do that much sorting out in the bivvy. Any changing you really need to do underneath this tree, so I've just sorted everything out into the panniers as I need them. Got my cook set ready, got my bottle of wine there. I've even bought a wine glass, 2 bottles of water. I think that's overkill because I've got a bottle that's 3/4 of a litre on the back, and then I've got 2 1.5 litres, so what's that, 3, that's nearly 4 litres of water plus a bottle of wine. So maybe the story about why I wanted to stay here. I was doing a 300km DIY Audax recently, and I went down to Lymington on the Solent, and I came back up through Glastonbury where I was able to get some sausages, and then I had it in my head I was coming up over the old Bristol Road, which is an old Roman road which runs out of Wales over the Mendips, over that way. And as I came towards Wookey, I thought, I'm going to go up Ebber Gorge instead, this road here. And as I approached it, I suddenly remembered this spot, and I thought, oh wow, yeah, that would be a good camp spot. And then eventually I was right. I turned through the village of Wookey and took a road I'd never taken before to join me onto the old Bristol Road. So it just flashed into my mind, this place. Even though I didn't come up that night, this place flashed into my mind, and I've been wanting to camp here. So I thought I'd give it a go. It looks like there's a few people in camper vans going to stay here tonight as well. There's a couple turned up, with couples in. I've bought my cheap Chinese copy of a Trangia. I'm just boiling some water in my billy can, and I bought out quite a tall windshield. I've got a couple of MR emails tonight. One of them is slightly past its best before date and the other one expires at the end of this month, so they both need to be eaten, and tonight's perfect opportunity. Plus I've got a bottle of wine and a plastic wine glass. The Trangia cooker can't burn that table. It's raised about an inch or so above the surface, so there's no danger of it burning. I've just put it on here so it doesn't topple over. Although I'm cooking at the table, I'm actually going to sit underneath the tree by my bike. I've got a sit mat there, and also it's out the rain. But let's get the bottle of wine open. Hello. Cheers. At the weekend I did another 200-kilometre ride, so I'll make a little bit of an announcement here. I've decided to not ride as many DIY Audaxes as I have been doing the last several years, and so I'll explain why. Last year, at the outbreak of COVID, Audax UK closed the system down and I just stayed at home. I followed government guidance and literally just went out for a walk every day with my wife. As the restrictions started to ease, I started to go out on my bike and start building my endurance up, and Audax UK opened the system up to 200 and 300-kilometre rides. I wasn't ready by the time they opened up, so I actually did a few of my own rides. I did a 100-kilometre, 150-kilometre, an Imperial 100-miler before I did my first 200-kilometre ride. And then I did a couple of those, and I also did a 300-kilometre ride. And then I just felt like doing a 400 and a 600. Although the Audax system wasn't open, I just called them DIY randonnées. And what I realised was I enjoyed them every bit as much, although one of them was quite hard, as if I'd gone through the official system. And it made me start questioning, do I actually need to do as many? If I'm enjoying it, if I'm getting the pleasure by not riding them officially, why not just ride them for pleasure? And exactly the same has happened this year. Because of the lockdown 3, I've had to build up my endurance with the anticipation of getting ready for the Fosway ride, but I also wanted to again build my endurance up. 100 kilometres, 150, an Imperial 100 miles, and then I've done several 200s, and I've stopped actually entering them as DIYs. And what I've decided now is, so this is my statement really, I think each year from now on I'm just going to do a 200, 300, 400 and 600 as long as I can, until I get so old I can't do them anymore, and I'll do those officially, and the rest I'll just go out and ride them for pleasure. Last Saturday or Sunday, whenever it was, I went out. I just enjoyed it so much, and it felt like being unshackled. It felt as if I was released from a straitjacket. It really, really did. A couple of times I just deviated from the route and thought, I don't care. Then I suddenly realised I've split the route into several files. I may get home and it may be less than 200 miles, 200 kilometres, excuse me. And I thought, I don't care. Even if I get home and it's 123 miles, I don't care. I really, really don't. I've had a good day out. Whereas previously I'd have got home, stitched the files together, and a couple of times I've been just under the 200 kilometre mark and had to ride around the block a few times. I just don't want that anymore. So whether this remains, I don't know, but that's my feelings at the moment anyway. 4 qualifiers for the SR series each year. As I said, as long as I can still achieve them, they're getting harder each year, I can assure you. And the rest, I'll still ride long distances, but just purely for pleasure. Oh, it looks like my meal's starting to get ready. It's really boiling away there. I'm just going to tuck into the Thai style chicken soup. I was a bit nervous about this one, to be honest, because me and Linda bought a Thai meal from the co-op about a year ago and neither of us could eat it. It was disgusting and it's put us off Thai food ever since, but this actually smells really nice. Well, I have to say, with the Thai style chicken soup, my concern was unwarranted. It was really, really nice. Me and Lindy quite often buy ready meals as a bit of a treat at the weekend. We quite often really like the Indian meals, complete meals in a box. We once tried a Thai meal and it was awful. It just tasted of sour milk, smelt of sour milk and tasted of it. Both of us just had a mouthful and just had to throw it away. And bearing in mind, we are both people who feel very strongly that you shouldn't waste food, so for us to throw food away is almost unheard of. So I was concerned about that, but it was very, very nice. Second course is halal chicken arrabbiata, chicken with pasta and a tomato based sauce. Looks very nice, smells very nice. The first one was very, very hot. It took me quite a long time to get through it actually, so here we go. Recently I bought 2 of these beans and sausages for breakfast. You buy one at Millets, get the second half price, so I bought one for my Fosway bivvy. Thought I'd use the other one for breakfast tomorrow. I've got these 2 boil in a container chocolate puddings, £1.50 from a supermarket. A lot cheaper than the Wayfarer boil in the bag. You just pierce the top, boil them for 20 minutes I think. I'm boiling water anyway, so it just makes sense to have these. So they work out 75p each. Once again, this Trangia is so much quicker. Now I've taken a few steps to rectify my mistakes. That's boiled in about 12 minutes tonight. So my first co-op chocolate pudding has been boiled in for 25 minutes. I'm just going to peel it back and eat it. I've just popped the second one in. It looks and smells very nice. I'll give you a verdict in a few minutes time. The chocolate pudding is absolutely fantastic. Every bit as good as the Wayfarer boiled in the bag wet meal. The only thing I'd say is it's a very small portion. You really want 2, and my pot will not allow me to boil 2 at once, so I'm going to have them about 20 minutes apart. Apart from that, excellent. Now the rain stopped, it's really nice up here. The early evening sun's really catching the Bristol Channel. If I zoom in, you may see Steepholm, the island, and then the far coast would be South Wales, that bit that really goes along towards St David's, and there's that big chimney up there. The sun's catching the Bristol Channel. Again there, you've got Exmoor and the Quantocks in the background. It just feels like one of those views you see as you come in from an aeroplane and you look down and see the patchwork fields. That's exactly what it feels like here. That's looking over towards Yeovil Way, I guess, Salford's Tower. Loads of cyclists coming up here. It's so busy up here, I'm actually quite surprised. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. 3 of them definitely look like they're here for the night. Amazing place to just chill out with a glass of wine waiting for my pudding to cook. Just looking over towards South Wales in the sunset. It really is a superb spot here. As I said, looking down almost feels like you're from an aeroplane. Looking down on the patchwork fields and the small candy-like trees. And the beams of sun now are catching Steepholm in the Bristol Channel. The Bristol Channel's really shimmering. Then that hill over there. Wow. Turning into a really nice evening actually. This is the lowest of the seats. I was looking at putting my bivvy along the back of here, or maybe just in front. When I did my Google Street View, I thought this would be the most discreet place, but earlier on when it's raining I just figured put it under the tree as I've done. It'll give me more shelter. And there's the picnic table I'm cooking on. There's a couple just walking along there. Amazing view. There's cows in the field opposite, so you can just hear those constantly mooing. That's the road running back up towards Priddy. As I said, there's a few camper vans here. It's approaching 9 PM, so I thought I'd give you an overview of the site. So that's the road towards Priddy, and there's the entrance to the little car park. Again, I won't say what the name is, anybody who knows the area will know what I'm talking about. There's the Mendip transmitter over there. You can see the top of it sticking through some rain clouds. Lots of cows and sheep here. And this is the road that steeply drops down to Wookey Hole. Ebba Gorge is down there just round the corner. And this is the amazing view looking towards the Bristol Channel. I'm probably going to bleach the camera now. That's my picnic table. Tree where my bike is and the bivvy underneath it. As you can see, there's a few camper vans up there. 2 camper vans and a Land Rover which has been converted into a camper van. Wow, lovely location. Late May, one of my favourite times of year, just because the evenings are so long. Just gone 9 PM and the sun's just set. It's beautiful up here. I can hear the sheep baaing behind me. Lots of bird song. One thing I would say is when I first got here, I had to shelter under that tree from the wind and the drizzly rain. And after about half an hour I got quite cold, to be honest. I was able to discreetly put my tracksuit bottoms on, dig through my pannier bags and find my puffer jacket. I got all the bivvy ready and just threw it up very quickly, and I just dived inside it, to be honest, and zipped myself in, and within 5 minutes I was very warm. It just did the trick. The thing that makes quite a difference is bringing clean socks, so I've put some dry socks on. It's coming up to 9:30 PM, and although the sun's set, it's still very light. Gosh, I just love this time of year, I really do. Looking down over this sheer drop onto the levels, you can see a couple of lights start to come on. There's a farm there right in front of me, and that looks, in that small little village hamlet, like a street light. There's just an odd light in a field there. I'm trying to work out what it is, whether it's a tent or not. It just looks so out of place. It's in the middle of a really big open green field next to a couple of trees. I've just zoomed in to see if I can see what it is. It just makes me think of those travellers down on the Somerset levels, and one of them actually had a hot tent, one of these tents where you can put a wood burner in and a stove through it. It just makes me wonder if someone's down there in a tent. I don't know what it is about me camping and full moons, but I just was aware there was a light behind me, and I look behind me and there's a massive full moon. Gosh, reminds me of that time I was at Wellow just before Christmas, and I thought there was a house lit up or someone shining a torch at me, and it was a massive full moon. It's happened to me so many times when I've been camping. Maybe there's a bit of werewolf in me that makes me just want to go camping at full moons. This is absolutely delightful. It's 10 PM and it's still more light than it is dark. It's fantastic just looking over at this sunset. It's funny listening to the different sounds. Earlier on I heard all the cows mooing. I was very aware of them. And then the sheep started baaing. Then the last 30 or 40 minutes I've heard all the birds singing. And now I'm starting to spot a pattern. I'm starting to hear the aeroplanes go over quite frequently. Such a beautiful evening camping. This is absolutely stunning. It's 10 PM and the sky is still very blue. That's looking down towards Wookey and Wells. That's possibly Glastonbury in the distance. And straight across at the full moon. Then you can see the vertical lights of the red lights of the Mendip transmitter. It's incredible, 10 PM and it's still light. In fact, it's still quite an amazing sunset over in the west. Wow. It's about 10:15 now and I'm actually ready to get in the bivvy. I've got everything pretty much organised, chocolate, knife, that's about it really. I've just got to stop and remember actually how to get in these things. It's actually quite technical to get in these, to be honest. You may or may not see me in here, it's very, very cramped, but my gosh, it's so warm. I made the mistake of getting in with my fleece on still, and I've just had to take that off. As I said earlier on, because there's so little space in here, the heat convects very, very quickly, and I'm already toasty warm. So I'm going to go to bed shortly, or certainly get in the sleeping bag and just lie down and just listen to the wind and just think about the day and the camping experience. I'll see you in the morning.